Welcome along to the SUTV Live post-game show, looking back on Sheffield United's 2-0 win on the road at Preston North End. In the studio alongside me, I've got Brian Deane and Kevin Gage. Gage, we'll start with you. On the road, that is very much job done, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a good, solid, professional performance. Yeah, we never hit any real highs the way we can. We never really got an awful lot of quality, attacking football going, but we never really needed to. And Preston are a half-decent side. They work very, very hard, make it life difficult for you, and in the face, and they gave our forwards a torrid time. I think that's a very, very good 3 points to come away with today with.
I know you weren't impressed with Preston, Brian, but as Gagey said, they were industrious, they pressed hard, high intensity. Yeah. It was a different challenge. They posed questions to the Blades and we found an answer.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've played in games where the manager says you have to match them for effort and your quality will come through. And I think that this was one of those games. If we didn't match them for industry and physicality and everything else, we wouldn't have won that game. But we matched them. And then from there, we kind of overtook the game with the quality that the squad possesses and the team possesses. So yeah, it was a very, very professional performance, and I think it sends a message out to the rest of the division. Because it's another clean sheet. It was a comfortable clean sheet as well. So I think going into the break now, we have a bunch of players now who, some of them are going away on international duty. The whole environment and atmosphere around the club is going to be really good, and it's it'll be a great place to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's talk about that clean sheet that Brian mentions, Gagey, because back-to-back road games this week, back-to-back clean sheets as well. The headline is 2 wins, 6 points, top of the table. But defensively, you have a lot better chance of winning games if you're not shipping goals at the back. Yeah,
well, we wax lyrical about how good we are, going forward, and I'm the worst defender. Always on about how great we are, fantastic creativity we've got in the team. But then you kind of take our defensive quality for granted, don't you? Because it happens week in, week out. You can count the number of mistakes we make on the fingers of one hand. It just doesn't happen very often. And today was we did what we had to do. We stood up to all the tests that they tried to throw at us. I think they weren't as physical or aggressive as Luton, but it was a similar type game. You could just feel the tension building within them, and then they just ran out of ideas. Yeah. And the very fact that Wes only had one shot to save tells it all, really. At no stage did they carve us open, but we didn't allow them to. We got bodies in the way, we got tackles made, we got interceptions, and we're not just talking about the back three and the wing backs here. It was collectively as a team. I've already mentioned in commentary, and I've said it before, Oliver Norwood, for all his passing range and for all his ability on the ball, he's throwing himself into tackles, he's getting his foot in, he's winning headers, he's all over the pitch. So we're doing that everywhere, and you've got Njai chasing people down. He's supposed to be a striker, he's a creative number 10. He's the first one to chase back and get his foot in and make tackles. It's that all over the pitch. Everybody's chipping in. And collectively, we're a very, very hard team to beat.
Well, since you mentioned Illiman and Jai, let's talk about the goals, because he got the first one, and it came as a result of him applying pressure to the Preston defenders, creating an opportunity, but taking it really well, Brian.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with this boy since I started seeing him play. I just feel he's getting better and better and better. And that was typified by his performance today. It was almost like a mature performance from him. He's kind of growing into the role, and that's typified by he knew when to press, and then just a little bit of skill initially to wrong foot the defender, and then the composure to open up the space. It all points to somebody who is really enjoying themselves playing for Sheffield United.
And equally, when you look at the second goal as well, again, the question Preston asked was, can you match our intensity and work rate? The Blades did that in every area of the field today, and both goals, including the second, which ultimately was scored by Ollie McBurney, it was effectively a tap-in for him, but it came as a result of Sander Berge closing down his opponent again.
Yeah, just pressing as a team, and Hecky's instilled that into the team. And he set his stall out, that's what we're going to do. A couple of minutes before that, George Baldock press from wing back deep into the Preston penalty area, and we nearly got a chance from that. And then Preston made the fatal mistake of trying to play across the back. It was a bit of a dodgy pass, miscontrol. Sanderberger's on it in a flash, and then it's all about him, his strength and his physicality, bursting past and getting the chance. But yeah, that epitomised everything that was good about Sheffield United today. We stood up to quite a physical test. We matched them, as Brian said, like man for man, and then our quality just told in the end.
So we've got Iliman Ndiaye on 5 goals in 10 games, scoring a goal every other game. Ollie McBurney got his 4th today. And then you have the added bonus of the club captain, Billy Sharp, coming off the bench. Yeah,
it's just a massive bonus, isn't it? Just to have him in and around the squad, just saying little things and just being around and as an inspirational figure for some of the younger players. Just wonderful. A wonderful option to have if you need it. Hopefully we won't need to bring Billy Sharp on off the bench or play him. But, he's there when we need him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's great because you're seeing the dynamic of the forward line changing now as well. We talked about it a lot last season, who's going to pick up and want to be the main man. And we've definitely got 3 contenders now, as well as Billy still there pushing them. So, we have different types of forwards, and that means that we can solve different types of solutions. Billy's always going to be there. He's going to be professional. I've been in the changing room at his age, and I've wanted to play every minute, so there will be some frustration from his point of view, but I had to realise that there were things that I couldn't do, I could still do in my head, that I couldn't do on a Saturday anymore. So you've got to manage yourself as well, and if you think about the legs that we've got with the players and everything else, it's good.
And on that note as well, it strikes me that Paul Heckingbottom said at the start of the season, with the loaner signings he made, the couple of permanent additions, he wanted competition in every place. It's one thing to say that, it's another to actually have it. And when we come out of this international break now, Gagey, you can have players returning to fitness, and nobody has a divine right to be in the starting 11.
Oh, no, of course, it's competition for places. I mean, you mentioned the international break. Let's hope the lads who go away just sit in their hotel room and don't get injured for 10 days or whatever it is, and let's hope they can all come back. Plus, you've got 1 or 2 players returning from injury. So we've got Bogle. I mean, how good was Bogle last year? So he'll be back, and he'll be providing competition for George Baldock. So there's various players to come back, and it all adds to the mix. I mentioned in the pre-game show that some players may have to accept that they're not going to be in the first team starting lineup, but they've got a huge contribution to make. Because of the substitutions rule this year with 5 subs, you can completely change the dynamic of the team in a flash, really. So everybody has got to be up for it and fit and ready to go and be called upon when needed.
Well, we started the day by saying the key word of the day was plethora. I think we can finish it by saying, coming out of the international break, Paul Heckingbottom is going to have a plethora of talent and options available to him. The garden is looking very rosy indeed here at Bramall Lane right now. And a reminder that once we're done with the international break, we're back with you on your sets, SUTV Live. Saturday, the 1st of October, for the visit of Birmingham City here at Bramall Lane. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. We are on air from 2 p.m. for that one. But for tonight, it's all about the Blades. Top of the table, 3 points clear, and looking down on everybody else.